What's going on, everybody? My name is Josh Hipp. This is Trevor Wright. We're here at Roush Performance. So if you've been following us, we teased a couple of days ago that we're coming up. So we're here. Trevor is been with Roush for a little while now. As actually previously at another great Roush dealership, and Roush scooped him up for all his talents and brought him to the main building. So we are in building 79. There's over 100 Roush facility buildings. This one is particularly Roush Performance Production.
Again, we're in Plymouth, Michigan. We're in a 60,000 square foot facility where the operation of the builds of the Mustang, Super Duty, Raptor, F-150 off-road, Supercharged, and Nightmare. So
awesome.
First, where it starts is outside. So let's go check out outside. Okay, so we're standing out here. This is essentially our lot where we're receiving the vehicles from Ford, which is about 12 miles down the road. And when you look around here, they're all stock units.
Yep.
And none of these vehicles are sold. So a vehicle does not get pulled into the building until it's actually sold. And this is actually one of 3 lots that we fill up.
So Roush doesn't build a vehicle just to be here. A dealer calls, says, I need a blue Raptor.
Yep.
Then it comes off the bailment into the shop.
Absolutely.
Now, in regards to that, because people may not know, can a customer order a vehicle as they want it, or can they only select from what Roush may already have coming in bailment?
No, absolutely. Custom. We encourage that.
Yeah.
Go to your local dealer, go see you guys, and choose from the options and build the car as you'd want it.
So you can customize it any way you want, as long as it fits within the build criteria, such as like when we're talking off-road, we're mainly on 302A, 502A. We're not looking at an XL vinyl floor truck.
No.
So you do style it around.
Standard, yeah.
We do have a standard, and that goes into the quality, into the excellence of the unit. Roush obviously wants you to be proud of what you're spending your money on, and so a 302A or 502A F-150 is a good platform to build an off-road F-150 from.
So with the increase in demand in the automotive, you've seen obviously truck and SUV increase tremendously. So currently right now, we actually have over a 4-to-1 ratio over truck, over Mustang build.
Yeah.
Which is pretty impressive. And I'm sure you've seen that.
And that's wild. I mean, because correct me if I'm wrong, the first Roush F-150 was produced in not too long ago. I mean, just what, 4 years back almost.
Yeah.
16
absolutely.
model, right? I mean, 15, 16s were the first ones, if I'm not mistaken. And now where you're in not just F-150, Super Duty, you're in Raptor, and then I'm assuming there's going to be SUV lines coming as well.
There's a possibility. Absolutely.
So now we're gonna go back into the shop and see production as it happens live.
Yeah.
All right, so this one has just been pulled in, it looks like. So it looks like we're in initial teardown phase. The fender, the wheellet moldings are off. We've got some of the grill pieces off. So I would assume this is where a truck begins its transition.
Yeah, essentially, and it does begin actually just shortly behind us.
Okay.
Quality check and wash. Once we know that there's no nicks or dings or things out of the ordinary, the truck is pulled in, and you're right. This is where the process of the teardown is going to begin. So the OEM bumper is pulled off and prepped and ready for the new bumper, which you are going to see in the next station.
Cool. Now you mentioned that obviously there's an inspection process before. Let's say Ford drop ships a vehicle here and you've got damage. What's the process? You get it fixed before? Do you release it back to them? Does Roush take it still?
Yeah, I believe that at that point, generally, if it's something minor, that's going to take obviously less time to just repair.
Sure.
Repairs
fix it and
possibly could happen in-house. It also depends on the extent.
Sure.
But generally, it would go back because we want to start with a fresh new unit.
Makes sense. And this one's got the lower bumper applique already on.
Yep. So yeah, lower bumper, and then you're going to see on the next process here is going to be upper, as well as the wheel and tires can either happen on this lift here or our next lift. They haven't got those quite on yet.
So you got tonneau cover on. This is a nightmare. This has got to be a nightmare.
Yep.
Because the wheels.
Nightmare package. So wheels, tires, emblems.
I didn't realize how much goes into tearing down the inside too. I mean, because I know you guys redo the seats.
Yes, and we're going to get into that at a point, which is something that we're definitely proud of as far as certifying our seats.
So literally the entire cabin on the inside is torn down so that it can be re-stitched and recovered in their full seat cover process.
So a really cool, neat fact that typically people like to say, oh, it probably takes, 3 days to get from that beginning point to here.
Yeah.
And it takes anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and a half on average.
To produce one unit.
To produce
That's
one
insane.
unit. So from beginning to here. And of course, if we go over to powertrain, then it'll go over to the other line. But then again, we're averaging close to 20 vehicles per day.
Wow. So to put in perspective, Lebanon Ford produces, with 2 technicians, we produce 4 to 5 LFP builds in 1 week. They produce 4 times that in 1 day. That's a pretty, it's amazing. It's incredible.
So here we're looking at the just about the end product of the Roush Super Duty. It has received its wheel and tire upgrades from bumper application, as well as graphics, which you're seeing them finish the graphics. These guys do a great job with the quality of installing graphics.
Oh yeah. So I mean, it literally rolls onto the first rack down there, gets torn down, next rack gets put on, next rack gets wheels and suspension.
Yep.
Final rack gets the seats reinstalled, get the graphics, and it's done.
Yep.
It's insane. That's wild. It's just, I mean, it's just a rapid fire, very easy process and knock out a vehicle build.
So obviously you're probably wondering, well, where is the Mustang process happening?
Right.
Mustang process, obviously, we talked about the 4-to-1 ratio on the demand. The Mustang would actually follow down the same line as the Super Duty, which then it makes a U-turn here and ends up here getting ready for wheel and tire, exhaust, rear deck lid, as well as getting alignment.
Gotcha.
So yes, we're extremely proud. Obviously, we're not always about speed.
Right.
Quality definitely comes first, but over time, quality does turn into speed.
Of course.
So like last year, we put out 2,240 units.
Wow.
And this year, we're currently at 1,343 to date, averaging, like I said, almost a little over 200 vehicles per month. So we're definitely popping out these cars to get into the dealer network, so you guys can obviously
so that we can
show them off.
We can show them off and get them to the end user. I think it's great.
Yeah.
Just continues to get busier. Every single time I come up here, it's busier and busier and busier, which is just...
And that's exactly why we're looking to a new facility.
Yeah, that's why you need more space.
Bigger. Yeah, exactly. One cool thing we can drop down here is the powertrain. So, like we talked about the Mustang, it's going to make that U-turn. Then, if it's going, obviously, with our Stage 3, our supercharger package, that is where this happens. Typically, it takes 1 day for one tech to complete the installation. So, you're looking at, from this point, essentially to here, prepping and install.
That's strong. And this one's already got it on it.
Yeah, so this looks like the completed process pretty much of our TVS 2650 Roush supercharger.
And one of the good things about the serialized unit is a little bit different from the retail kit is that though these are an option that you can get with the retail kit, the serialized unit already comes with the engine covers. The coil cover kit covers all the wiring and the coil plugs and everything, and just makes it a nice, clean, neat engine bay.
Essentially, and that's what we want to keep. Our standard to like the OEM, we want to keep it looking like you pulled it straight off the factory floor from Ford.
Looks clean. I love it. It's awesome when it comes together, and that it comes together so fast is huge. I think that's just a big accomplishment. You know, I mean, there's a lot of people that are trying to get into the serialized market, and it takes weeks to get parts or days to put a car together. But the fact that you can, if a dealer calls and says, "Hey, I've got an event," like just in my nightmare, the nightmare that we wanted for our car show, which is this Sunday. You know, I called Steve Nardi, our regional Roush rep, and I said, "Look, I want to buy a nightmare, but I really need it on a tight schedule. I've got like 3 weeks. I know that's not usually the case of getting a vehicle produced and also transported to me, and made it happen. It showed up 2 days ago. I mean, 2 weeks, the car was pulled out of bailment, got into the build queue, got built, got shipped, and arrived at Lebanon in under 3 weeks. So really the process of ordering a Roush vehicle doesn't come down to months and months and months unless we're ordering directly from the factory. You know, if you came to our dealership and wanted a Roush unit, I can typically get one. As long as we have a vehicle here in bailment, we can get one fairly quickly. We're talking about a few weeks, not 10 weeks. And I think that's a misconception a lot of people have. Think, well, if I want a Roush vehicle, if I want to order it, I'm gonna have to wait. That's just not the case. We can get them fast.
And typically, like, people think speed, they think errors are going to happen. And we have a system that we are scanning in and out of parts. So you make sure that every part gets installed in these vehicles correctly, as well as you can see here at the end, is our quality check. During this, there is essentially a magic marker that happens. You can see it under a black light. That is every nut and bolt to make sure that's torqued up to spec before it ever leaves to a dealership.
That's great. I mean, and that's what Roush is known for, right? It's the quality. It's the quality of not only the parts, but the build quality for the serialized vehicle and the longevity of a Roush product. It's not something that's going to be a flash in the pan. You're going to have it for a while, and then a year in, you're going to have issues with it. This car and truck, they're going to run. And they're going to run well for a long time.
So you mentioned quality, and I know we said that a few times now, but you're right. It's something that Roush takes pride in. For instance, our process of our seats. When you get the Roush optional seating, you are getting something that is certified.
Gotcha.
We actually go in, and the brain on the unit actually tells like the airbag correctly what to do. Typically, you see a lot of guys, they tear it off, drop a new one back on,
yeah,
the same contents inside the seat. Not here. We certify them with our machines here to make sure that the safety rating on a 54-pound child that were to sit there, we want to make sure that the airbag deploys.
So I mean, it's OEM quality. I mean,
Absolutely,
it's not just cheap aftermarket. It's it's the way it should be.
It matches how it comes from Ford.
Great, perfect. I mean, and the one thing, and that's the one thing that's great about Roush, is that Roush does a lot of engineering with Ford Motor Company, so you have a lot of access to these things to make your product an OEM style product.
Absolutely.
So, and I think that's the biggest thing about Roush compared to the other brands. The other brands, you can tell the difference from aftermarket to OEM just by doing a detailed inspection of the car. You can tell what's not necessarily what Ford would call Ford quality compared to what is truly an aftermarket.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Trevor, we're at the end of the tour here, but we're in front of a couple racks with a couple different vehicles on it. One of them being what looks like a P51. I'm assuming it's a drift car because of the camber we're looking at.
Yeah.
This must be JTP's.
Yeah, so it's a P51 with what we call tilty wheels.
Gotcha.
So it is Justin's personal build, so we do see a lot of cool builds come through here.
Yeah.
A lot of spec builds for such as drifting. Justin Pollock, he is a professional drift driver.
Right.
He runs our unit, our TBS 2650,
Okay.
in both his competition car that utilizes more than 1,000 horsepower.
Wow.
With our unit, and then of course his personal car that he uses for our drift events with Roush Road Crew and such,
Gotcha.
which has the same unit in it. Also, what's cool about this car is it was actually the prototype of the Roush Performance.
Oh wow.
So we found a home for it and said, "Hey Justin, what do you got?"
What, you want to drift it?
Tilty wheels on it. It makes tons of horsepower.
That's awesome.
It's crazy loud. So
That's
cool.
awesome. And you can see a lot of, if you've never seen JTP drive before, if you go to SEMA, and I've gone the last 2 years, JTP rips in the Ford Out Front booth every year.
Yep.
Him and Jack Jr. get out there and just tear it up. So if you're going to SEMA this year, or even if you just see footage from it, expect to see JTP drift in a car probably like this out there.
Check the FD schedule.
Yeah.
Formula D schedule. They go all over the world, and those are events. I mean, seeing cars at that speed, that horsepower, within no lengths at all.
It's insane how tight they can get together.
It's insane, is right.
Yeah.
So.
Well, cool, man. I appreciate the tour. Thanks for your time.
No,
I'm really excited to get the car in here and get some shots with it, with all the Roush vehicles behind it. And yeah, we'll definitely be back. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks.